Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Penny for a Reel. Make sure you stick around by clicking the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you always know when I upload. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking with me. So today I am finally going to be doing a video about how to prep your hair for highlights, things you should do before you highlight your hair, things you should think about before you highlight your hair, and the things that you should do to take care of the highlights once you have them. So I know you guys have been waiting for this for ages, and I get so many questions about this kind of thing all the time over on my Instagram page. So yeah, I'm finally going to be answering some of your questions now. So let's get straight into it. The first thing I would say before you even think about highlighting your hair is make sure that your hair is very, very healthy. So if you're transitioning, if you already have damaged hair, do not do anything to colour treat, bleach your hair. Please don't, because it'll make it 10 times worse. And if your hair's already dry, also don't do it. If you're suffering from dryness, don't bleach your hair. Don't colour treat it. Don't highlight it, please. Only do it when you're completely comfortable with where your hair is. If you're completely comfortable with the health of your hair, go ahead and do it. You'll be fine. I would personally say, if you're someone who's transitioning to natural, make sure that you've been natural for about 1 year before you decide to colour treat your hair, just so that you have a really good understanding of how your hair reacts to certain things. Basically what bleach does is it chemically changes your hair, so it's important to know kind of what you're dealing with before you even go into it. Number 2, along the same kind of path, if you do decide to highlight your hair, always make sure you do your patch test. So if it's a section at the back of your hair, just do a couple of little highlights using the highlighting kit, just to see, for one, how long you need to have it on for, but also if your hair's going to take to it, how your hair reacts to it as well. It's a really good idea to do your patch test, but that's just general for all colour treatments, isn't it? Right? Am I right in thinking that? I think so. And the next thing, as you would have seen in the video, my mum and I actually did my highlights in sections. As I said, that was just so that we can control how long the highlights are on for. So the box of highlighting kit that we use, it says to leave it on for about 30 to 40 minutes after you've applied it. So basically by doing it in sections, it means that while we're highlighting our hair, that we're limiting the amount of time it's on for before we do the 40 minutes, if that makes sense. For example, if we did my whole entire head and then did the 40 minutes, the back where we normally start, that would have been on for like hours. So it's definitely better to split it up if you're someone who has quite a lot of hair, especially if you're doing it for the first time. If you're just doing the roots, it's not as much of an issue, but yeah, that's my next tip. My next thing is, if you do decide to highlight your hair, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. I have had a lot of questions in my Instagram DMs of people saying, hi, I've just highlighted my hair and my hair feels really dry. Can you recommend anything? And I think to a certain extent, there's not that much that you can do apart from the things that you probably already know. So doing things like DIY hair treatments, making sure your hair is moisturised the whole way throughout the week. The thing is as well, when influencers get these questions, it's like, I can't see your hair and I can't figure your hair. So I don't know what level of dry we're dealing with. Is it just drier than normal? Because that's something that you should maybe expect. If you're doing your hair at home, especially if you're bleaching your hair at home, please do expect some things to not be as they once were. I think don't go into it with any kind of illusions of what this is going to do to your hair, because it probably will change it a little bit. So don't think that you're just going to highlight your hair and it'll be the same as it was before, because it probably won't be. I don't really do that many things in terms of dryness, because I don't really suffer from extremely dry hair. I'd say I suffer from dry hair just as anyone else would. And the only ways that I've dealt with that is to keep my routine really consistent. So I wash my hair weekly. Depending on how my hair feels will depend on what masks I use, what treatments I do. So if I'm having my hair on a really bad week and my hair feels super duper dry, I will go in with a hot oil treatment or pre-poo before I get into the shower. Normally I'll do the pre-poo the night before. So I'll basically just load my hair up with oils and then when I go to shampoo, my hair doesn't feel quite as stripped and dry as it normally would if I didn't pre-poo my hair. And then I'll maybe do a very, very moisturising treatment, or I'll do a DIY moisture treatment as well. There are so many good moisturising masks out there. I'll maybe link them below so you can go and have a look. I'll link all the ones that I have used and that I like below, because they're obviously working for me. It doesn't mean that they are going to work exactly the same for you, but it might help you out. Also, the types of shampoos that I use differ from week to week depending on how my hair feels. So I might use a moisturiser one week, and I might use a clarifying one the other week. One thing to note as well, sorry, I feel like I'm overwhelming you with information, but it's all things that are necessary and kind of things that you should know. So basically, my routine also depends on my hair porosity. My hair is low porosity, which means lighter things are better for my hair, and it means that water and products struggle to get into my hair. My hair takes a long time to dry and I get build-up fairly easily, but I'm very careful about what products I use, so I don't suffer from too much build-up very often. So the times where I'm using a clarifying shampoo are the times when I have build-up most of the time. That's the other thing, from porosity. So if you're someone who, basically, bleaching and colour treating your hair can actually change your hair porosity. So for those people who do message me thinking their hair is dry, that could be because your hair has changed its porosity and your routine that you used to have isn't quite as effective as it is when you have bleached hair. It might be that you need to change up the way you're using your product. So you might need to go from, for example, LOC, so liquid or leave-in, oil and cream. You might need to move from that, which is for high porosity, to LCO, which is your liquid, your cream, and then your oil. That might be the difference that you need to add into your routine. So there's just certain things that you should keep an eye on once you have bleached your hair. So yeah. I think someone also asked me over on my Instagram page whether I use Olaplex. I have never ever used Olaplex. I feel like I should, but I just don't. However, I do use protein treatments, which I'll also link below in the description box. There's a couple of other questions as well. Oh, another question was, do I try and avoid re-bleaching certain parts of my hair? So, in terms of doing the roots, we try and do the roots of the ones that are already done. How do I explain this? So, if there's already been bleach on it, and the roots have grown out, we'll re-bleach that root, just so that it all kind of looks similar to how it was before. There are certain occasions, as you saw in the video, where we have to bleach new ones, just because I'm very careful about where I place new highlights, because I have certain sections of my hair that can get quite frizzy, so I try and avoid bleaching my hair in those sections too much, because it's probably going to make it worse. So I'm quite particular about where I put them for that reason, basically. Once you have highlighted your hair, as I mentioned before, you might need to change your routine up just because your hair does change. Just be consistent and do all the things you would normally do to keep your hair healthy. So buy your satin scrunchies, satin bonnets, satin pillowcases. You might have to invest in some products that you've never used before. You might have to invest in colour safe products. If you want to do purple shampoos and purple conditioners, you can do that as well. Yeah, it's just about being aware of the things that could happen to your hair, or the way that your hair could react to it. But as I said, I've never really had any problems with mine. Yeah, I honestly think that's all that I can think of. I really thought this video was going to be longer, but I think most of the things are just being aware of what you're doing to your hair, and most of it is kind of in the preparation phase. The only things that I would say to be aware of after are the changes in your routine that you might have to do. But yeah, other than that, you should be good to go if you've got healthy hair, and if you're prepared, if you are consistent in your routine, you should be fine. That's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry this is so short. Please, if you do have any more questions, drop them in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer them as quickly as I can. There's an ice cream van. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Don't know what it's going to be, don't ask me, don't know when it's going to be out because I've got loads of content to make. Thank you for watching. Bye!